So about 2 months ago was the most difficult period of my fitness journey I've ever faced. To be honest with you, I wanted to make a video about the huge wins that I made on my first cut and how disciplined I was when I was losing weight. But that's not what happened. It's now January. I started this cut in April of last year at 167 pounds at about 18% body fat. And I was excited as hell to lose all of the extra fluff that I put on over the past few years. I was literally here sitting at my desk planning in my notebook with a smile on my face thinking, yeah, 3 months from now, I want to be freaking shredded, bro. That's the goal, 3-month cut and I'll be 12% body fat. Let's go. But 2 months ago, it was month 9. And the cravings were so bad that 80% of my thoughts were about food. I felt like shit because all my lifts were down. I was watching mukbang videos, bro. I'd never done that before in my life. I don't even like that shit. And I'm stepping on the scale one morning in December, praying for the progress that I've been suffering for. And there the number read, 161. I lost 6 pounds in 9 months. What was more difficult for me than actually going through the hunger and discomfort of the cut was facing the fact that I'd stalled my lifts and wasted months just for such little progress. Because bro, if you think you're doing everything right because you've watched a few fitness influencers, because maybe even you've read a book, you're going to waste your time living in a fasted state, feeling like shit for months on end without anything to show for it. I know because that's 100% what I did. I'm going to show you exactly what went wrong in my first cut so that you don't have to waste the months and make the same mistakes that I have. If you don't already know who I am, my name is Luke Grenoble, and we are a gang of like-minded young men who are no longer settling for the monotony and depression of living an average life. If that sounds like something you want to be a part of, hit subscribe right now. We lead men through the journey from their lowest points in life to becoming social celebrities through charisma, discipline, and bold action. And our goal by the end of 2025 is to have 100,000 social celebrities, and I hope that you will be one of them. My promise to you is that by the end of this video, you are going to know the unique tips from someone who has just learned the hard lessons of a failed cut, not the dry, repeated, fact-based, unapplicable ramblings of someone who hasn't struggled in the gym for years. But before we get into it, I want you to know where I'm coming from. To be honest, I'd always been a skinny kid, and not abs skinny either, just skinny. I was 16 in chemistry class, and I was excited as hell because luck was in my favor that day. My chemistry teacher had just paired me with my crush, Sarah. And I walked up to her, we sat together in the hallway, we started working on our assignment together. I was putting on the Luke Riz, which was like looking at her sometimes and then avoiding eye contact at all costs. But hey man, I was 16, I wasn't on my social celebrity journey yet. But we're both sitting down in the hallway, and I made a big mistake, boys. I wore shorts that day. And out of nowhere, she burst out laughing, saying, "Wow, your legs are toothpicks." And bro, I was in marching band. I thought that my legs were huge at this point because like I'd seen a little bit of progress in my calves. But my point being that I was picked on plenty in school, even by my crushes. And that was the first moment in my life where I really wanted to do something. I was motivated to get in the gym, but I didn't for years because I believed that I just couldn't. I believed that it wouldn't work for me. I tried going to the gym before when I was 14, 15. I saw no progress and I gave up every time. For some reason, it just couldn't work for someone like me. But after some unfortunate family events happened, if you want to know my story, you can click this video. I realized that I had to become strong. Not only for myself, to stop being picked on, to actually get the kind of girls that I wanted, but because I never wanted to be put in a position where I felt helpless again. I took a long look in the mirror when I was 18 and I faced the truth that I was skinny because I chose to be. The actions that I took had rational consequences, which meant I wasn't working on my body or gaining any weight, and it was my fault. But as soon as I accepted this responsibility of consequence, I also realized, oh shit, this means if I take different actions, I can change. Crazy thought, I know. So basically I forced my roommate at the time, Ethan, to take me to the gym because I was scared to go alone, honestly. I had all of these fears and limiting beliefs. I thought that people were going to look at me, they were going to laugh at me, talk about me. That skinny guys weren't welcome in the gym. I couldn't have been more wrong, bro. Now that the gym is basically my second home, I have more respect for skinny guys than I do anyone else because I know that every single workout for them is way harder than it is for me. And I guarantee you that's how most of the people in the gym you look up to already think. So I fought through these fears. I kept going to the gym. Hold on, let me get this shit. I read this book, Bigger, Leaner, Stronger by Mike Matthews, and it's pretty fucking good, dude. I took it as the absolute Bible. I started doing my own research. I finally started eating enough that I didn't feel sick every day and weak all the time, which I didn't even realize because I'd done it for years at this point. So one Rocky montage and 4 years of inefficient bulking later, And I went from 131 pounds at about 9% body fat to 167 at 18%. You can see all my mistakes from my bulk in this video. But this was a huge change in my life. Not only was I now big, but I developed so much self-discipline, character strength, self-love. Not necessarily because I was sexy now, but because putting so much effort into my future self, I felt like, of course I love myself. Of course I'm gonna have this self-love. I'm doing so many things for future me. But being sexy didn't hurt either though. Now the only problem is I'm pretty big, but I also want to be lean too. And I saw from these big fitness influencers and I read in books that bodybuilding is the process of gaining muscle through a bulk and then stripping fat with a cut. Now it was time for my first cut. And I planned it all out, right? How much I would eat, the kinds of foods that I would be eating, what my meals would look like, and I was so excited. Finally, I wouldn't have to eat until I'm uncomfortably full anymore. And I honestly thought because I was naturally skinny, it was gonna be cake. And to be honest, it was for the first few months. I lost 10 pounds, was about 157, and was feeling good. It wasn't even that hard. Now I was pretty lean. I was probably about 14% body fat. But my goal was 10% because I had never been there before with my size. And that way I could bulk for longer afterward too. And it sounded like a pretty great idea. It's what the books had told me and all the influencers that I watched online had said. But after 3 months, I still wasn't there. I was sitting around the same weight, so I cut my calories a little bit more. I ate less, and now this was tough. Now I was actually feeling hungry daily. My weight started to drop again, but it felt slow. Even with me adding in cardio now too. And my cravings started getting so bad at this time that my cheat meals became huge. I'm embarrassed to say that I went to multiple fast food places for one cheat meal, right? One meal. And I ate so much that I felt sick every time and basically canceled out all of my week's progress. And the lowest that I ever got in the next 6 months was 147 pounds at about 12% body fat in October. And after finally hit this huge weight loss goal, yes, bro, 147. I celebrated with my friends for one weekend, and because of the immense cravings in my body just wanting to binge because I'd been in a calorie deficit for so long, I went back up to 153 and I never got back lower. I recognized my cut wasn't working after a few months and decided to start a bulk again this month. I took a week off to maintain around Christmas, and my cravings were much less after that, but I ended up gaining weight again to 161 pounds. So out of that 9-month period, net total, I lost 6 pounds. So now that you know my story, what went wrong? Lesson 0.5. I'm not even gonna count this as a full lesson. This is more so mindset. You are going to fail, and that's okay. To be honest, I plan on making this video right after ending my cut, so it would have came out a few weeks ago, but I didn't because I was disappointed, upset, embarrassed that even that if I would make a video, I wouldn't really have much to show for it. It was tough for me to swallow at first that the progress and time were gone. But after thinking about it, bro, it wasn't a waste. Of course it wasn't a waste. I now know every roadblock that I'm going to face on my next cut. I know the demons that are gonna come up. I know them by fucking name now. And this is basically a cheat code because now I'm going to be prepared. Now it's going to be so much easier for me to not only make progress, but to do so in a healthy, consistent way. Maybe you've cut before in the past and you failed. Maybe you've failed to get in the gym consistently. Good. I'm glad you failed, bro, because now you have the fucking cheat codes. You know exactly what demons you're going to come up against. And if you reflect on them and really think about them, you're going to understand how to fight them the next time they come up. Lesson 1, don't cut for long periods. Cutting for 10 months, my body was worn and weak by the end of it, bro, leading me to fall into binging regularly. And like the books I read and the influencers I listened to said, technically you can cut for as long as you want, but it's not realistic, bro, because your body wears down after a while. It's much better to cut for short periods and then lean bulk in between, because you're always going to be able to lose fat much faster than you can gain muscle. Because say you want to lose weight, but you want to do so in a way that isn't fucking hell. A healthy rate of fat loss would mean that you'd probably lose about 8 pounds in 2 months, and then in the next month, gain about 1 pound, maybe a little bit more of muscle. So after 3 months, even though you were only in a calorie deficit for 2, you're still net down 7 pounds, and you're stronger. My point is you don't have to do it all at once, bro. My next cut is going to be 2 to 3 months max. Lesson 2 is full send it, bro. Fully commit and spend as little time as possible in a calorie deficit. I spent months cutting and binging over and over, struggling to lose weight and then gaining it back again immediately. And I don't care if you think that you're a hard gainer. Once you're getting lean, it will be tough. And what I noticed is that when I cheated a little, I tended to cheat a lot. 2 cookies very quickly became the whole box. The best way to make progress is to stay laser focused for short periods. Meaning, don't try and cut during periods where you're going to be extra tempted like the holiday seasons. Huge mistake I made. Huge mistake right there. I'm typically the kind of guy who tries to purposefully go against the grain, right? Questioning the standards and beliefs that society puts on you. But the seasonality of bulking in the winter and cutting in the spring is not something I'm gonna fuck with from now on. Because one, I don't wanna miss out on parts of life like the holiday season, but two, it's a lot easier to lose all of your progress during times you are extra tempted. So try and line up your diet so that you're bulking in the winter around holidays and then cutting in the spring. Lesson 3, find every way you can to make your cut as easy as possible. Some things that really help me is 1, eating your largest meal before bed. Whenever you're already lean, getting leaner, it can fuck up your sleep if you were hungry. Not going to bed hungry means that you're going to get better sleep, which means you're going to be more well rested for your workouts. You're going to lose less muscle in the process, and your cravings aren't going to be as bad. Next, eat lots of low-calorie food. And again, all the fitness influencers love to tell you you can lose weight by eating anything you want, which is true. Technically, you can eat anything you want. It's energy balance. As long as you are eating less than you are burning, you're going to lose weight. But the thing is, the food that you eat affects how hungry you are going to feel, which can make your day really easy or really fucking hard. Not only is calorie-dense junk food a lot less filling, it's also addicting. Food scientists have tweaked every bit of fat and sugar to make sure that you want to eat more after. Whenever you limit your diet just for this short period of time to, I'd say, maybe 90% clean foods, it's going to make the process so much easier. Lastly, find low-calorie ways to reduce your cravings, because you are going to get smacked with cravings, especially when you are lean going leaner. Some of the best things that I've found is whenever I get like really bad night cravings, sugar-free Jell-O. I'll also chew gum throughout the day. Flavored water is incredible for this. It's so helpful for you to find some kind of low-calorie filler for you to eat on days when your cravings are especially bad. And of course, bro, I can't guarantee you're going to have the exact same experience that I had when cutting, but I can tell you that the demons that you face are going to be very similar. So don't make the same mistakes that I have. And hopefully I'll be back in 6 months' time with another video on how I succeeded in my second cut. Knock on wood right now, bro. Go ahead and like this video or save it to a playlist. You can come back to it for inspiration or so that you remember the biggest obstacles that you are going to face and how to overcome them. And leave a comment and let me know your thoughts on my mistakes or what I could do better. It will be very humbling. And let the gang know your story or the next step that you're about to take in your fitness journey. Because your comments not only inspire me, but every other man who's only one step behind you. Act now, bro, and become unstoppable.